The greatness of a person does not begin with where they stand, but with the thoughts they nurture in their minds. That truth has stood the test of time and is proven through the lives of great people like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos, people who dare to think big and dare to make the impossible possible. The thinker Napoleon Hill, in his book Think and Grow Rich, once wrote, "What you think of yourself is what you become." But if that is true, why are there still so many people struggling to find their way to success? Is it possible they don't really believe in themselves, or they have never seen the great potential hidden deep within? Today's story will reveal the answers to those questions, and more than that, it will give you a profound lesson about the power of thought and faith, which leads us to true greatness. Today, we will explore some new vocabulary together to improve your English skills. So please watch this video till the end, because I promise the time you spend will be worth it. Once upon a time, at a crowded train station, there lived a beggar who lived day by day, relying on the kindness of passers-by. Every day, he sat in the corner of the platform with a hopeful look in his eyes and his hands outstretched amidst the bustling crowd. Then one morning, as the train sounded in the distance, he suddenly saw a businessman walking onto the platform. The man was wearing a luxurious suit. His face radiated confidence and success. The beggar thought to himself, "This man must be very rich. If I ask him for some, surely he will give me a handsome sum." With that hope, he took a deep breath and began to step closer. The beggar slowly approached the businessman. His eyes gleamed with hope. He held out his hand, hoping to receive a few coins, like every day before. But this time, the man in the expensive suit did not put his hand in his pocket. He looked at the beggar, his eyes calm but deep, and asked, "Have you ever given anything away, or do you only know how to receive from others?" The question made the beggar stop. He had never heard anything like that. Confused, he replied softly, "Sir, I am just a beggar. I live on the kindness of passers-by. I have nothing to give to anyone." The businessman smiled, a small but meaningful smile. He said slowly, "If you believe that you have nothing to give, then you have no right to ask for anything." He paused for a moment, then continued in a calm voice, "I am a businessman, and I understand well the law of giving and receiving in life." The businessman said softly, his voice was low, slow, but powerful, "This life operates on exchange. If you can give something, I am willing to give back. But if you have nothing to give, then I cannot give you anything." With that, he stepped onto the train that had just arrived and left, leaving the platform filled with the sounds of people, the sound of trains, and the silence of a shaken soul. The beggar stood there, silently, watching the train disappear into the mist. In his head, the words kept ringing, each word, each letter. "If I have nothing to give, then why should anyone else give me anything?" He had never heard anyone say that before. The man was not rude. He was just stating the truth. And for the first time, in the heart of the beggar, a small but powerful thought flashed through his mind. Maybe it's time for me to learn how to give. The beggar suddenly realized perhaps this was the reason why, for all these years, no one had given him much, because he had never given anything. That night, he tossed and turned, unable to sleep. In his head, only one question echoed, "But what can I give? I am just a beggar. I have nothing in my hands." Then the businessman's voice reverberated in his mind like a gentle but profound reminder. "If you want to receive, then first you must give." 2 days passed. The beggar no longer raised his hand to ask anyone for any money. He was too busy thinking, worrying, looking for what he could give. On the 3rd day, while sitting quietly on the platform, his eyes suddenly stopped on a small cluster of wildflowers growing near the tracks. Their brilliant colors, like a ray of light, sink into his dry heart. Suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind. What if instead of just receiving, we could give something back, even if it was just a good feeling every time someone helped us? With renewed determination, he walked quietly to the side of the tracks, gently picked a handful of wildflowers, then returned to his usual spot on the platform. When someone stopped and dropped a coin into his hand, he smiled, a genuine smile, and gave them a small flower in return. To his surprise, not only did people accept the flowers, but they smiled back. Some even said thank you. Day by day, a miracle began to happen. More and more people came to give him money, but he soon realized a simple pattern was forming from the moment he started giving. Those little flowers changed everything. Every time he gave flowers, people gave him more money, more cheerfully, and more generously. But then, when the flowers dried up, the donations also decreased. At that moment, he suddenly understood. People always cherish the feeling of receiving something in return, even if it was just a small gift, a flower or a smile. Then one day, when he was handing out flowers to passengers at the train station, his eyes suddenly stopped. On the train about to leave, it was the businessman from back then. His heart suddenly trembled with emotion. He hurriedly ran over, smiling brightly. "Sir, today I have something to give you. If you give me some money, I will give you these flowers." The businessman looked at him, a gentle smile, his eyes full of pride. He took out his wallet, gave the beggar some money, and gently accepted the flowers. Then he said, his voice warm, "Today, you have truly understood the value of exchange. Now, you are no longer a beggar," the businessman said slowly, his voice low but full of warmth. "You have become a real businessman." The train stopped at the next station. The businessman bowed slightly, then stepped down into the crowd of hurried people. The beggar stood there, his eyes followed his retreating figure. In his heart, a question echoed. Am I really a businessman? For many days he thought without stopping. And then, a moment like a flash of light flashed in his mind. I know the secret of success. I am not just a beggar, I am a trader. People did not give me money out of pity. They paid for the flowers I gave them. That means I have a real job. I have a small business. Excitement welled up in his heart. He smiled and whispered, "It's time for me to make a bold decision." That day he left the station and never returned to being a beggar again. 6 months later, at that very place, two well-dressed men happened to meet. They shook hands. One man's eyes were slightly suspicious. "Excuse me, do I know you?" The other man smiled, his voice deep. "Yes, we've met twice before, right here on that very train." The man frowned. He tried to remember, then suddenly stopped, his eyes wide with surprise. "Wait, you're the beggar, the one I once refused to give money to, and then I bought flowers from you, right?" The other man nodded, a gentle and proud smile on his lips. "Yes, it was me. But today, I am no longer a beggar." The man smiled, his eyes shining with pride. "Now I run a small flower business and am traveling to expand it even further." The businessman looked at him, stunned. "I can't believe it. What changed you like that?" The florist chuckled. You taught me one of the greatest truths in life. We only truly receive when we give." He paused, his voice soft. "That day I realized I had never been a beggar. I had always been an entrepreneur. I just hadn't seen it in myself." The two men shook hands, this time as equals. Then they boarded the train, each heading toward his own future. Because life is shaped by how we see ourselves. Each of us. If you believe you are small, you will remain small. But if you dare to believe in your inner potential, you can reach greatness you never believed possible. So, never limit yourself. See yourself as strong, capable, and worthy of success. Because when your thinking changes, your future changes. If this story touches your heart, please give it a like, comment on what you learned,